Certain people sell crack, certain people sell marijuana. I sold heroin.
For 8 years, Jamal Farrell ran his heroin business in Baltimore, Maryland, and his profits were staggering.
We made over $25,000 a day selling heroin.
Jamal grew up in a rough neighborhood in Corona, Queens, New York. Almost daily, he witnessed drug deals and street violence.
I remember driving by and my aunt's in the car, my grandmother, and there was times, and okay, now duck, and there was gunshots, and there's a lot of shooting around in the area, a lot of killing.
Jamal's mother raised him with the help of his aunts and grandmother. Fortunately, watching people take drugs and die from them actually kept Jamal from ever wanting to use drugs himself.
You see the crackheads, you see the people on heroin, but there was something in me that said I would never do that.
As a teenager, Jamal found a good job working at a cable company, and he married his high school sweetheart, Janelle. But eventually, Jamal got fired from his job after he was caught selling illegal cable boxes. That's when he started a new business, selling heroin.
By the time I get from 106th Street to 101st Street, whatever I had was sold.
As a dealer, Jamal had enough money to buy fancy cars and expensive jewelry, and adultery became an almost daily occurrence.
It was like not just one or two situations where I found out that he was seeing someone else. It was a lot of them, and it really hurt me in so many ways.
Jamal knew the consequences of the street life could mean prison or even death, but he took the risk anyway. One day, while on a drug run, Jamal was arrested for drug possession and attempting to distribute. Because it was his first drug offense, he was given 2 years probation.
I still kept on praying for him and believing God would really deliver him and save him from the world that he was living in.
One day, while Jamal was out of town and his wife was at work, some rivals came to his home, tied up his children and sister-in-law, threw them into a closet, and robbed him. The robbery of his home and nearly losing his children wasn't enough to cause Jamal to get out of the business. But something happened one day in front of his television that changed his life.
I was counting about $90,000 by myself. In my mind, I'm repeating, it's just no peace. You know what I mean? I'm like, there gotta be more to life. But all of a sudden, I see a man of God on the video, and he got his arms folded. He didn't say anything. And I just started crying and weeping. And I was like, God, it gotta be more than this. And I just pushed the money down. And I said, God, if you just get me out of this, I'll give it up.
Jamal's sincere cry for help began his journey toward change. His first step? To tell his drug partners that he was getting out of the business.
I'm just talking to God, walking down the street, saying, what am I gonna tell my friends? S calls me 20 minutes later. Yo, I've been calling you. What's up? I'm like, yo, I gave my life to Christ, man. He's like, what? And I said, yeah, I gave it up. He's like, man, what? I said, I gave it up. He said, you gave it up? And then I said, yeah, man, I can't do this. And what really touched me is, I guess God dealt with his heart. And he's like, yo, man, you my man forever. And he said, whatever you decide to do, man, I'm down with you. He said, that's a good move. And I kind of like, weights lifted off my shoulder.
After Jamal stepped away from the drug world, he moved with his wife and children to Florida to start over. But Jamal's struggles with lust for other women came with him. That's when he became friends with Pastor Ardell Daniels, who invited him to church. There at the altar, he cried out to God for deliverance and forgiveness.
I'm praying that what's ever in me come out that's not of God. You know what I mean? So I said, well, God, I'm coming to the altar. I'm coming to lay it down, to get delivered from lust and perversion, for it to be broken, destroyed off my life.
And so when he came to the altar, it was almost like you can see that he just really, really said, all right, God, if you're real, if you're the real God, then you can get rid of this thing that's troubling me.
He was finally delivered and set free from lust and perversion, and he had stopped selling drugs and dealing with, old friends and stuff like that. And that was very exciting for me.
Today, Jamal volunteers in his church and runs a successful real estate management company where he buys and renovates older properties to resell.
Even though you're not making that type of money, the $25,000 a day or $10,000 a day, 15, whatever you might make a day, it's nothing more fulfilling than serving God. There's a peace that comes on you. I can come home now and I'm home. God has blessed us tremendously. He gave a business and a beautiful home, and our kids are happy. And money can't buy that. When people look at you now, they be like, nah. But you can't do nothing but give God the glory, because it's all God.